But for now, Robert, when we talk about southeast Queensland and people moving up there, are they moving to Brisbane, or are they tending to pick those areas south of Brisbane, in between Brisbane and the Gold Coast, where we've got that big corridor, that big growth corridor? There's a lot happening there. There's a lot of employment. There's a lot of infrastructure planning as well. And there's still very cheap housing.
Very affordable. So the people that are moving from the southern states, especially Melbourne actually, we're noticing a lot of loans that people are selling up in Melbourne and moving to Queensland, and there are still some from New South Wales moving there also. That is the actual pocket they're going for, one because of the affordability, for the land content, and the geographical location to south to the Gold Coast and north to Brisbane. And there's a lot of infrastructure being built around a lot of those the parks that are around there. So that particular region there are a lot of relocations to that particular pocket.
OK, now Matthew, back to you. You've got some
35. Let's go to John in Perth. Great to have you on the show, John.
Yeah, g'day. Yeah, I enjoy the show very much. What the question is I'm from the eastern states. I'm actually living in Perth now, and I watch this market over here. It's just boiled to the top, and I'm wondering, is there a lag going to follow like after what the eastern states sort of they peaked 2 years ago, and now sort of Perth said it's peak and it's sort of on a decline. I was still looking at buying over here and just not sure whether to go or wait a little bit longer.
All right, a quick comment before our next call.
He made reference that he came from the eastern states. I agree with everything that Michael said here. So if you've come from the eastern states, and we believe that Perth is going to probably suffer a bit more in the near future anyway than the eastern states, it might actually be worthwhile reconsidering where you're buying and maybe reconsider the eastern states in this current economic climate for you, John. It's just worthwhile weighing out where the future projection on the demands, the supply and demand factor, and with the factor that in the Perth region incomes went up so high in a relatively short period of time, people in the services industries were getting paid double on in the Perth region they were in the eastern states. So that indirectly pushed up prices over there. But it's just worth comparing the two. If it's solely an investment, it's probably worthwhile reconsidering coming back to the eastern states for your investment if your job is still over there.
OK, great advice. Let's go to John in Bega in New South Wales. Great to have you on the show, John.
Hi, how you going?
Very well, thanks.
Yeah, my question is, I'm looking at purchasing a new home in Bega, and I'm buying it for an investment property, and because I am currently unemployed, I'm purchasing the home outright with my own funds, and I'm getting the first homeowners grant. I'm going to live in it for 6 months and then move out and rent it, and I was just wondering if you thought this was a good way to use my funds.
Can I just ask a question there? You said your intention is ultimately to rent it out. Are you considering going forward moving into it at any particular point in time or not?
What I'm going to do is, because with the homeowners grant, you have to live in it for 6 months. You have to live in it for 6 months, that's correct, yeah. I'll live in it for the 6 months, then I'll move out, and then I'll rent it. And I was possibly going to look at using the equity in the house to maybe purchase another house after that.
OK, from a lender's point of view, some lenders might consider lending to you to buy the other property down the track. Do you think you'll probably be employed down the track, or...?
Yes, it's possible.
OK, so this is just a short-term temporary thing, being unemployed, is that correct?
Yeah, it was due to an accident, but I'm pretty much recovered from it.
OK. From what I'm trying to get at here is that do you know what the rents are in Bega?
Yeah, I'm looking, because the house I purchased is around about the 350,000 mark, and the rent is somewhere around between 300 and 330 a week. OK, and my friend here, Michael, do you know what the capital growth has been on Bega? Or
it's been roughly 9% year on year for the last 10 years.
Yeah, OK.
But the other thing is, I mean, what else are you going to do with your money? Attract 2% interest, 2 or 3% interest in a long-term cash account, put it in the share market where we've seen 40 or 50% declines over the last 12 months. I think property is a good store of wealth.
But the concern could be if you're unemployed and you need to, and that's going to continue, that you might need access to those funds, and if they're tied up in a bricks and mortar asset, it might be difficult.
Yeah, but one of the things I was getting to there, John, was you're looking to get... The reason you're doing this reading between the lines is because you want to actually get access to this first home buyers grant. Is that correct?
Yes, that is part of the reason.
So what I'm trying to get at here is if you're solely... The driving factor for you acquiring a property now and you're going to live in it is to get the first home buyers grant. I don't know if you were listening earlier with what Michael and myself were saying, but sometimes you can probably, if you're looking to save that $14,000, $20,000, depending where you buy in this current economic climate, you could probably save that alone in negotiating right and buying a property going forward where you might potentially, in a capital city, where you might get a better demand for rental and potentially a better demand for capital growth. So just reconsider that. Unless you've already purchased it, well, hey, you know, good luck to you and best wishes. But there are sometimes some better areas. If you look at RP data and things like that, there might be some better areas where going forward there might be some forecasts for some better capital growth than some of the country areas. Just something to give it some thought.